Dear students, let us have a short discussion to conclude the backpropagation aspects of convolution neural networks. So in the previous discussion, we have seen that the convolution operation in the forward pass is implies the correlation operation in the reverse pass. So and hence, if there is a, say for example, if you are getting the convolution maps C1 through convolution operation with the kernel K and X, in the reverse pass, if we already have delta C1J, then to get delta X, what you need is the correlation operation with respect to corresponding kernels. But since, as you can see here, Ex is involved in feature map 1, 2, 3, up to 6 feature maps. Okay, so and hence the errors here all will accumulate to give the error in X. So and hence you can see the summation over 6 maps, because the deltas here in each of the 6 maps involve X. Okay, and then in the backward propagation, where all the connections are, they all will add up and give the delta X. Please note that in forward pass, the same variable is used for finding the delta, like C1 first map, C1 C1 2, and so on. Okay, all J. So that in the backward pass, the errors here all in J maps with the corresponding weights given by the kernel adds up and gives delta X. Now please note that. Similarly, now if we see here in the forward pass in the second convolution layer, the 6 maps here, okay, are all multiplied with the kernels, all like 5 cross 5 cross 6, okay, kernels to give a single map here, K. And like that, you have 12 maps here. Now, in the backward pass, you have the errors are delta C to K at 12 maps. Now, all these 12 maps will have a contribution of their error back in each of these 6 maps. Because as you can see, so in each of the 12 maps, you have the contribution of all 6 maps involved. Okay, and then all these 12 maps have come from 6 maps, and there is a connection between all these 12 maps to 6 maps and 6 maps to 12 maps. Okay, and hence in the backward pass, you can see that all 12 maps together, okay, the delta C to K with the corresponding weights. Okay, correlation with the corresponding weights in the kernel K to J comma K. Okay, the correlation is operation is the back propagation aspect of the convolution operation, and all 12 maps are like the contribution of all 12 maps add up to give the delta in each of the maps. Okay, J1 to 6. Please note that here it is J is varying from 1 to 6, right? So in the forward pass, you might have written exactly the opposite set of equations, where C2 comma K is equal to the summation over S1 comma J, okay, correlation with K2, okay, J comma K, where the summation was over what? Summation was over J, 1 to 6. All 6 maps add up to give each of the 12 maps here, K equal to 1 to 12. Now all the 12 maps errors with the corresponding weights add up to give the weight errors in the 6 maps. Okay, so these 2 equations you can see, okay, these 2 equations as, okay, one forward pass, okay, and then the backward pass. Okay, so similarly, you can also see for the this equation, the forward pass, as you can see, so C1K, let me try to write here. Let me try to write this separately here. In the forward pass, you might have written that so for this, the forward pass was sorry, C2K is obtained by S1J convolution with the kernel 2J comma K, where summation is over 1 to 6. All 6 maps add up to give each of the 12 maps here in the forward pass. This is forward pass and this is the backward pass. Okay. Similarly, now if we come to the layer ahead, that is first convolution map, the forward pass. Let me write the forward pass first here. Okay, C1 comma J is obtained by K1 comma Z. Okay, and then convolution operation with X, right? So this is how we have got the J maps through convolution operation, right? Now in the backward pass, what does it happen? The backward pass, delta X, if you want to write, this is equal to, because X is involved in all 6 maps. Okay, delta C1 comma Z already is with you. Correlation operation now instead of convolution, because it's backward pass, into K1 comma J. But there are all 6 maps. X is involved in all 6 maps. The error in all 6 maps together contribute to error in X. Okay, so here again, this is what you can see, the forward pass and backward pass, right? Given these things, what do we do? Using these deltas, in delta C1, delta S1J and so on. Okay, we can easily write the kernel updates. So delta K1J is equal to, as we have seen in the previous discussion with the slides, flip of X. Here you can see flip of X into delta C1J. Okay. Similarly, here if you want to write delta K2Z, it is flip of input. Okay. This is convolution with delta C2K. Right. So you can see that J2K map is involved with J2. Okay. So there is no summation because this is just a single map connecting the Jth input to the Kth output. Okay, so as we have discussed before, to imagine this, you can imagine the second convolution layer as each map being a neuron and each kernel being a weight. Okay, 3x3 kernel being a weight, connecting them. Right? Right. Fine. So given all this, what do we do finally? What we want is kernel. Okay, so we want to update the kernels through backpropagation. So K1 comma Z is equal to T plus 1. So let me write T plus 1 is equal to K1 comma Z T minus eta times. It's all elements, for all elements. Okay, delta K1 comma Z. Right, at T anyway. So this is what we do. So we update through gradient descent. In simplest form, K1 comma Z at T plus 1 iteration. T refers to iteration. Okay, R8 we see. So at Tth iteration is equal to based on this. Right. Similarly, we also update all kernels K2 J comma K. Okay, T plus 1 is equal to K2 J comma K T minus eta times delta K2 J comma K. Right. We also need to update the biases. So bias at the second convolution layer, okay, usually represented with B2. So if we represent with bias 2, okay, that the second convolution layer K map in the second convolution layer is equal to, is obtained usually by averaging of the kernel K2. Okay, K2. Averaging of the kernels. Okay, where averaging is done over what? Over J. Because you have actually J kernels connecting to that particular output kernel K, where K is equal to this. Similarly, for bias in the first Jth map is equal to, it's simply averaging. Okay, K1 comma Z. So since K is a 3x3 matrix, this averaging now is only across the 3x3 matrix. Okay, so whereas the first averaging is across the 3x3 elements and then over J as well. Right? Okay. So here we conclude the discussion on the backpropagation. So what I would suggest is you make it as an exercise to write the back propagation for a particular deep neural network. Let it be, say, even you can start with initially a two-layer network. Write all the forward equations and the backward equations. Okay, considering that the activation functions are also there at each of the convolution layers. Okay, and then see whether you are comfortable in writing the back propagation equations or not. X1, C1, S1, C2, S2, and then what you have is, okay, FC or the output. So FC, and then what you have is here the O, right? So let us assume that just for notation, this is W, FC. Okay, just for notation, assume that in O is the output any of the maps. Like, say for example, so output at the convolution layer C2 is OC2. Okay, output at this is OS1, right? And here is OC2, C1. Okay, and then the net values are C1, right? So the net values are C1 here. Okay, and then OC2 is nothing but OC1 is equal to activation function at this location. Let it be sigmoid activation function or any activation function at this location into C1, right? So because we assume that the dimensions are all of exactly as that of C1. Also C1 of J, if we consider, okay, here also it will become J. O is also having same number of maps, same dimensions, all those aspects. Okay, similarly here OC2 is equal to, so here output is C2, and then this OCD is equal to activation function of C2, and K maps if you have here also let it be K maps, right? So exactly in the same manner. But this is just for notational advantage when we have the activations, right? If we don't have activation, OC2 equal to C2, and there is no need to explicitly write as two different variables. That's what we have done before. And here O is equal to F of net, so as we have taken before, right? So now let's try to write the back propagation equations. So just to write here, also this is O minus T. I just keep writing. Okay, the local derivatives first. Okay, so this is nothing but delta O is this, fine. So delta net, so let me write with a slightly different color. So delta net here is equal to O into 1 minus 4. Why is this? We assume that F is sigmoid activation function. Let us assume and write. Okay, so for any other also you can write this. In fact, it is a delta F is nothing but F dash. No, you have to write here delta net, small delta net. Okay, and here delta net is equal to F dash, right? So F dash is nothing but for sigmoid activation function, F dash is equal to F into 1 minus F. Okay, we are writing as element wise product because we are assuming that only diagonal we are considering. Okay, O is a if we consider this is a diagonal matrix, F as diagonal matrix, we are also performing all these element wise operations. Okay, so that can be all conveniently done as a vector operation as well. Okay, F into 1 minus F. Okay, so these are all, assume that these are all whenever we write the small numbers, small letters, it is the vector, okay, of diagonal representing diagonal elements in matrix F. Okay, so we can either perform on the element wise operations or on the matrix operations with element wise, a vector or matrix. Okay, both element wise. So here O minus 1 minus 4 means these are all actually a vector, assuming that vector. Okay, yeah, directly considering O vector, right? Okay. So now let us try to write in the same way for other layers. So here it is equal to delta FC or delta FC is in WFC transpose, right? Here, as we have seen, delta S2 is nothing but reshape of what? Delta FC, right? And now we want to write here. So let us try to write the equations. Delta C2. Okay, let us write up to here. Okay, delta C2 if you want to write. Let us start from O minus T. So if you want to write first delta F for C, you can write delta of C up to delta FC, O minus T. Okay, you start from here, O minus C. Okay, and then what? Element wise product, O into 1 minus O, all are element wise. Okay, I'm just writing like this, element wise. And then what? Delta FC is directly this. Then and WFC transpose. Okay, is also there. So please note that this whole thing, we are element wise operations can cross 1, and this is 192 cross 10, right? And hence this is 192 cross 1. Okay, that's what is the dimensions agreeing with the delta FC. Right now, given all this, also you can directly use delta FC also while writing this. Okay, delta FC into delta C2 you want to write. Also assume that the reshape is done. Okay, to get delta S2. Okay, after that, what should we do? Here, there is an upsampling operation that's happened. So this is reshape of this is equal to delta S, right? Delta C2 is equal to delta S2. Yes, we can write upsampling operation then. And if there is an activation function that's say after this downsampling operation, you got S2, right? So OC2 is what you get here. First delta OC2, and after that we have an activation function. So that will come this. Okay, OC2 into 1 minus OC, right? So what are the dimensions of OC2? OC2 is also after upsampling, these dimensions are, so you know that 8 cross 8 cross 12. Okay, these are also, OC2 is also 8 cross 8 cross 12. Okay, and this is also 8 cross, anyway, all are 8 cross 8 cross 12, right? And we assume that there are element wise operations here. I'm just putting element wise operations with dots, that's all. Okay, right. Now after delta C2, so if you want to write delta S1, right here, please note that delta C2 delta convolution layer here. Okay, this is sampling layer. Okay, so now our pooling layer. Delta S1 if you want to write, so how do we write? Here summation comes on delta C2 comma K and C2 comma K with correlation operation with K to J comma K. And summation is over what? Delta S1 of J we want to get, okay, over K equal to 1, right? And delta S1 is here. Okay, so since there is only the convolution operation happening and we already considered the activation function, here we need not do anything. Okay, and from here delta C1 if you want to get, okay, delta C1 if you want to get, it's nothing but delta S1 already you have got, okay, up sample into OC1 into 1 minus OC1. Why is this OC1 into 1 minus OC1 coming into picture? The reason is because we have an activation function after first convolution layer as well. Okay, so this is representing this from based on the, say what? For activation function at C1, right? This is for activation at C2, right? And this is for activation and the error, okay, together at the output. Fully connected layer, at fully connected layer. Okay, right? So and hence you have got delta C1 as well, and you know that delta C1 has also had same maps, right? And now what we want to write, given all this, we want to write here. So delta K1 comma J. So kth kernel you want to update. So which is given by flip of X, flip of input convolved with flip of input. As you can see, K1 you want to update now, K1 comma Z, right? And flip of input multiplied by the delta here. That's all. Delta C1 comma Z, which already you have, right? Similarly, delta K2 comma J comma K, where you have actually, and this is delta K2 comma J comma K. In the convolution layer, if you want to update, flip of what? Flip of input. That is flip of S1 comma Z. Okay, convolved with delta C2 comma. That's all. Fine. This is how you have actually the back propagation equations written, right? So once you understand, it is quite easy or simple to write back propagation even in very deep network. As you can see, there are only few operations, okay, like subsampling or pooling, and then convolution in forward direction, forward and multiplication in the forward path. In the backward path, we do have the same operation. Okay, just that subsampling may become upsampling and then unpooling, but all element wise operations. And then convolution may become correlation. That is also this can also be done with the same function that is written for either correlation or convolution. So similarly, all are the matrix vector operations. So it's fairly simple. Once we decide on the exactly like we are doing math operation, we do also write the back propagation, taking into account. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can discuss with me in a minute on the back propagation of convolution in convolution. Thank you.